Right. And moderators, please, if you will help me continue to get people into the Zoom, that will be great. So, welcome. My name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a board certified physician in internal medicine and pediatrics. Give me 1 second. What's going? Okay. I'm a board certified physician in internal medicine and pediatrics, and I want to talk to you guys today about something that I have become very, very passionate about. And let's get on with it. Now, I'm so sorry. Okay. So why are we so sick today? That's the question that we need to be asking ourselves. Why are we so sick today? And the answer is simple. We're sick because we eat in ways that harm our body's natural biology. You see, food is medicine, or it could be poison. And unfortunately for us in modern day society, it is the latter for most of us. Food has become our poison. We eat in ways that affect two key systems in our body. And what are those two key systems? How the body makes energy and how our gut functions. Those two things are the reasons why we are so sick today. You could have a direct correlation to those two things: how our body makes energy and how our gut functions. They answer the question why we're sick today. And what I want to do today is I want to examine entity number one and show you how entity number one has a direct correlation to why we're sick. And entity number two, how our gut functions, has a direct correlation to why we are sick. Now, let's start with entity number one, how the body makes energy. The way the body makes energy is dependent on the hormone insulin. Insulin is a very critical hormone in our body. It's the most important hormone because of the role it plays in making energy. And this is exactly what insulin does. The job of insulin, every time that we eat, all the food that we eat is converted into glucose after absorption occurs. The job of insulin is to mobilize that glucose out of the blood because glucose is released into the blood as an end product of absorption. Mobilize that glucose out of the blood into the cell. In the cell, there is a special organelle in the cell called the mitochondria. If you may recall in your junior biology days, the mitochondria was termed to be the powerhouse of the cell. So in the mitochondria, once in the mitochondria, the glucose goes through a complex series of reactions called the electron transport chain, with the result of an energy molecule called ATP, which stands for adenosine triphosphate. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the energy current of the cell of the. That is how energy needs. I want you guys to understand this. Every and the smallity of the cell group up to form tissues group up to form organs group up to form systems group up to form the whole man. Every single cell in the body requires energy to function. When a cell, a tissue, an organ, or system doesn't have the required energy it needs to function, it malfunctions. The simplest definition of a disease is a group of cells, tissues, organs, or system that has malfunctioned. So now, That's insulin's job. It sits central at securing the body's energy needs. When insulin is no longer able to secure the body's energy needs, when there is a breakdown in this process of insulin securing the body's energy needs, we call that breakdown insulin resistance. That breakdown is called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance just simply means insulin is no longer able to secure the body's energy needs. You have to ask the question, why? Because once upon a time ago, we were created wonderfully and perfectly by our Maker. So, what has happened that has caused breakdown? What breakdown in insulin being needs, guys? I want to illustrate this. Every time we eat, insulin has to be called to action. Every time we eat, glucose is produced. Insulin has to mobilize that glucose into the cell for energy to be made. Every time we eat. Now, sadly, the statistics say that in today's day and age, we are consuming 30 to 35% more calories than our ancestors did 500, 1,000 years ago. So, what that translates into is that insulin is now having to work 35% overtime. If I had a job and my employer told me, hey, Dr. Dieter, you're going to have to work on this job overtime once a year, I'm like, that's nothing. I can do it. But if that same employer came to me and said, Dr. Dieter, you're going to have to work 35% overtime every day, what's going to happen to me is that I'm going to get burnt out. And when I get burnt out, I am effective. When I'm burnt out, do my job and effective in. So what happens? We are in this day. You capture how much when I talk about this calories in a single can of a soda, a single can of a Coke. Name your soda, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or what have you. They say in one single can of Pepsi or soda, there is more sugar in that single can than you and I, our great 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 grandfather, would have consumed their whole life. So we now in modern society are consuming more calories, 30 to 35% more calories. We have made insulin to begin to work overtime, 35%. Insulin has worked overtime and has gotten burned out. When insulin becomes burnt out, insulin becomes an ineffective employee. Insulin could no longer secure the body's energy needs. And when insulin can no longer secure the body's energy needs, what we call insulin resistance, all the processes, remember, every cell, tissue, organ, system requires energy to function. When insulin can no longer secure the body's energy needs, critical systems break down. You now start having disease. It's a of when you have insulin resistance, it burnt out on to secure the processes that require energy to function can no longer function. You develop high blood pressure, you develop Alzheimer's, you develop migraines, and what have you. I want to give a simple explanation here for you guys to see it, just a simple depiction of how one of these entities is linked to that. For the purpose of time, I cannot go through all of how these entities are linked to insulin resistance. And I want to say this, that this slide is only a representation of a fraction of illnesses that come as a result of insulin not being able to work. Let me give you a straight correlation between high blood pressure and insulin resistance. You see, there is we generate our blood pressure from your artery. Okay, your artery is where you generate your blood pressure, and the artery normally looks like this. Okay, Inside the artery, there is a special cell inside the artery called the endothelial cell. It sits inside the wall of the artery like that. The endothelial cell, okay? And I'll put the name of that is endothelial cell. Remember what I said about body requires energy to this through the use of ATP energy. This is a spatial signaling molecule called nitric oxide. Okay. What nitric oxide does is that it's a molecule that goes to the walls of the cell, of the artery, I'm sorry, and causes the walls of the artery to relax, to expand, goes and puts its elbow out. It's like nitric oxide causes elbow out in the wall of the artery. So it goes and exerts its effect here and pushes out the wall to cause it to expand. Um, live when stop. Okay. Can you guys still see my screen? If you could still see my screen, could one of the moderators say yes or no?
No,
No.
you can't.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. The signal here is not that great, so I will go back and share it. Okay. Can you all see now? If you could successfully. Moderators, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So when we may have some of these issues again because the internet network is unstable. I'm traveling, I'm not home, so I'm not using my same internet network. So if we do, we're just going to repeat the linking. So when nitric oxide causes its elbow out effect on the wall of the artery, it causes the diameter of the artery to extend. It comes and causes that elbow out vasodilation, and the diameter of the artery now increases to a wider diameter. Because the diameter of the artery is wider, the pressure in that artery is going to drop and going to be low. That's what nitric oxide is supposed to do to secure what we call normal tension, normal blood pressure. Now, nitric oxide requires energy to be produced. Remember, I said every cell in the body requires energy to function. Down, you have insulin and there is in insulin being able to secure its energy needs. Let's see. I had when you have insulin resistance and there is a breakdown in insulin being able to secure the body's energy needs, you do not have ATP. Correct? If you do not have ATP, which is energy, this cell, which requires energy to produce nitric oxide, doesn't have the juice it needs to produce. So it doesn't produce nitric oxide. If it doesn't produce nitric oxide, there is no nitric oxide to come and exert its elbow out effect, pushing out of the walls of the artery to cause vasodilation. And as a result, instead of the walls of the arteries being pushed out, elbow out, the opposite happens. They're constricted, what we call vasoconstricted. They're stiff. And you have a situation where instead of having a wider diameter, you now have a diameter like this. The smaller the diameter of the artery, the higher the pressure in that artery. This is just one simple illustration of how this is pressure. I'm going to go to the next aggression. The form of our depend upon of some of the functions of the gut. You may not know it, but when God created you and I, He created a special colony of bacteria in our gut called the microbiome. And this is a colony of about 30 to 100 trillion bacteria that live in our gut. And it's supposed to help the gut, perform these functions I have on the slide. And this colony of bacteria exists in a 50-50% proportion. 50% of the bacteria in the gut are what you call bad bacteria. The other 50% of the bacteria in gut are what you call good bacteria. Now, for you to have a normal gut function, you have to have that 50-50% proportion. And one of the important functions of the gut, I didn't know this 3 years ago. When I learned about this 3 years ago, I was surprised. Did you know, guys, that 70% of the body's immune system resides in the gut? 70%. The other 30% of the body's immune system resides in the lymph nodes, the bone marrow, the lymphatics. And your gut is responsible for training your immune system. Immune system is vital. It protects us, from harm. It is a defense line. When your gut is healthy, it trains the immune system to protect you. When your gut is not healthy, the opposite happens. Instead of your immune system protecting you, your immune system turns the guns against you, the trigger or the rifle towards you instead of protecting you. So it radicalizes your immune system to begin to attack you. Now, that's one of the very important functions of the gut to help regulate our immune system. And all these functions of the gut are dependent on a healthy proportion of the good and bad bacteria, this 50-50% proportion. Now, there is something we call gut imbalance. What is gut imbalance? It's simply when the bad bacteria outnumber the good bacteria. What happens is, remember I said you have to have 50-50%. The bad is 50% and the good is 50%. Now, we say you have gut imbalance when the bad grow to maybe 50%, outnumber the good ones and the good ones now to 30%. We call gut imbalance. Causes gut imbalance. You have to act because again, our maker made us perfectly and wonderfully. Remember that gut imbalance is one of the key reasons also why we are sick today. So, what causes gut imbalance? It is the shortage of food. The shortage of food is what causes it. And you may ask, Doc, what are you talking about? Shortage of food. You're already saying that we're eating too much food. Guess what? Every living organism needs food to thrive. And it's the shortage of food for these organisms. You see, the food for this bacteria in our gut is something we call fiber. Fiber is a specific type of nutrient that we humans do not digest. We're not able to break down, we don't have the enzymes to break down fiber to obtain calories from it. Fiber is food for this bacteria. Food for the bacteria. Fiber passes through the colon, our GI tract intact because it's food for the colon. Now, unfortunately, we are not consuming enough fiber. Our foods are so processed. If I had to, I brought uh, 500 years to today, and I put him, he'd be in shock. He wouldn't be able to recognize that. We eat foods that are so devoid of fiber, so unnatural. And as a result, we're not taking in the nourishment for the bacteria. You see, we're supposed to live in a symbiotic relationship with this bacteria where we do for them, they do for us. We're supposed to provide for them food and shelter for them to be able to do these functions. So we're not consuming enough fiber. That results in the shortage of food. That results in the shortage of food. Now, when there's a shortage of food, what happens is it sets into motion survival of the fittest. Let me just give you a sense of what I mean by we're not consuming enough fiber. You see, in the United States, the average man is supposed to be consuming at least 38 grams of fiber a day. The average woman should be consuming at least 25 grams of fiber a day. That's the required dietary intake. The NIH estimates that in the United States, the average man and woman is consuming anywhere from 12 grams of fiber and 55 dietary amount. Do you know how much our ancestors consume fiber? 80 to 90 grams of fiber a day that they were consuming. So, because we're not consuming enough fiber, shortage of food sets into motion survival of the fetus. Anytime that there's a shortage of something, survival of the fetus. Think about COVID time. When it was COVID, you'll be lucky if you went to Sam's Club or Costco and found milk on the shelf. Scramble, scramble. Think about when the UN is delivering aid to war-stricken areas or famine areas and they dropping aid. It's survival of the fittest because there's shortage. People are trying to scramble as the food is being dropped down. It's the same thing in the gut. When there is a shortage of food because we are not consuming enough fiber, when survival of the fetus sets in, the bad bacteria are the stronger bacteria. So what the bad bacteria do in that survival of the fetus fight, they win the fight. They win the fight and gather the food. And then they say, you know what? We don't got enough food. There's not enough food to go around for us, the bad guys and the good guys. We're the stronger guys. So why don't we increase our army to keep a monopoly on this? It increased the 70 at the you got have imbalance, the functions of the gut are now compromised. And when the functions of the gut are now compromised, you now start having diseases that result from gut dysfunction. On this slide, you're going to see a lot of autoimmune diseases because remember I said that the gut is supposed to protect, help the immune system protect us. When the gut is unhealthy, instead of the immune system protecting us, it starts attacking us. Lupus is an autoimmune disease coming from gut imbalance. Multiple sclerosis. Pardon me, guys, to say away from home, so not the greatest internet connection. So there's a strong correlation between gut imbalance and colon cancer. Now, again, this slide is not exhaustive. This is a depiction of a fraction of illnesses that come as a result of the gut. I want to highlight these two entities because I found this to be profoundly shocking to me that anxiety and depression principally are the result of gut imbalance. That was surprising to me when I learned the science 3 years ago. Now, let me give you the direct correlation. There is a hormone we call serotonin. That hormone, serotonin, is called the happy hormone, our mood hormone. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that 90% of that hormone is produced in the gut? That shocked me. I didn't know that. Only 10% of it is produced in the central nervous system. Now, if 90% is produced in the gut and the gut is unhealthy and cannot produce that 90%, and you're only reliant on 10, 10%, it makes sense that you will have this correlation. So these two entities, these two entities, how the body makes energy and how our gut functions are the reason why we're sick, because they cause a decrease in energy. Now, as much as those two things are the reason why we are so sick today, there is good news. So go back or the way the body makes energy. Give it a check. Restore the balance of the gut. These two entities that caused an energy deficiency. If we could restore that and restore the energy deficiency, the diseases that came as a consequence of those energy deficiencies now go away. You see, if I gave you a time machine, right, and I told you to go back 3, 4, 500 years in the past, you won't find a single great grandparent living with an autoimmune disease. You won't find a single great grandparent living with polycystic ovarian syndrome or fatty liver disease. Why? Because they did not eat in the ways that we are eating today that have altered the biology of those two systems, the way the body makes energy and the way our gut functions. So if you can reverse those root cause issues, those diseases go away. And I like giving this analogy. Let's say you're riding on a car and that car runs out of gas. That car is going to stop not because of engine. If you went to your car on the side of the road and you put gas back in that car and you turn on the engine, you hear the beautiful sound of the engine. It roars back to life again. I've run out of gas 2 times. It's embarrassing, but this is the point I want to make. When I ran out of gas and I put gas back in my tank, never once did I have an apprehension or a worry, oh, I hope this car is going to start again. I mean, the thought did not even cross my mind, not a worry at all. Why? Because I knew that the car's problem was it ran out of energy. I gave it energy, it will gonna start back. So it is with the body. These modern day diseases our ancestors did not have because they did not eat in a way that caused insulin resistance and did not eat in a way that threw the balance of the gut. So it stands to reason that if we can correct these things, just like that car roars back to life again, those diseases go poof. And people who have had diabetes no longer have diabetes based on this concept. People who inject no inject was able to take care of these two root causes, giving his body back the energy that the cells of the body needed to function efficiently and they started function. So I want to introduce to you guys a nutraceutical product, which is a solution to helping us address the root cause. Because we're saying if we can reverse these two root causes, we can reverse the disease condition. And this system is called the Feel Great system. And I got to tell you guys this as a physician, okay, sorry about that. Not So a nutraceutical is a product that is made 100% what we call nutraceuticals, 100% made from plants. Now, I want to stress what this does is that it uses science, the science of intermittent fasting, which I'll abbreviate as IF, intermittent fasting and fiber supplementation to be able to reverse the energy problem, insulin resistance, and reverse the gut imbalance. We're going to use the science of intermittent fasting and fiber supplementation to do that. I want to take each of these products and show you how this product helps to address this issue, you know, and this product helps to address this issue, and how this product equally helps to address this issue. This product called Unamate is made from a plant that is native to South America called the yerba mate plant. And this plant is very rich in a special phytonutrient. And that phytonutrient is what we call a polyphenol. And the specific name for the polyphenol is something we call chlorogenic acid. Now, I said we're going to use the science of intermittent fasting to be able to reverse the energy problem. Why intermittent fasting? You see, our ancestors never ate 3 meals a day. 4 meals an underestimation because meals a day, we're snacking throughout the day. So we eat like vultures in between meals, grazing like cows on a cattle ranch, and putting our insulin to work over and over and over again. Um, estimates say that our ancestors ate about 1.5 meals a day, maybe at the most two, 1.5. So they were not overworking their insulin. So what do we want to do? We want to simulate and create a situation where our insulin is not overworking. Right. So on this system, we recommend, what is favorable for your biology, that you fast for 16 hours. Right? 16 hours of fasting. And what this does is that it helps to promote you to intermittently fast, because the Unamate containing chlorogenic acid produces, many of you guys may have heard of GLP-1. GLP-1. And what you may not know is that GLP-1 is a natural hormone produced in our body that the pharmaceutical industry onto the human body, harvested, made a setting to have people inject this with. When you eat right nutrients. So this plant is rich in chlorogenic acid that every time you take it, it causes the body to produce GLP-1. Now, GLP-1s can help you fast if fasting is hard for you to fast. Because each time you sip on this drink, the drink comes in a powder, you mix it in a bottle, and you take a sip on it. Each time you sip on it, when a GLP-1 is produced, it goes to the hunger center of your brain, calms down the hunger center of your brain, causes you not to be hungry. So we want you to fast for 16 hours, and I'll tell you why. But before that, let's say you ate dinner at 7 p.m. at night and you had nothing else to eat until you went to bed at 10 p.m. and then you got up at 7 a.m. in the morning. From 7 p to 7 a is already 12 hours. You have already been fasting for 12 hours. So we want to help to extend your fast by 4 more hours, because the longer you are fasting, you're keeping insulin rest. Remember that insulin got burned out because insulin was working 30 to 35% over time. Now, when we are fasting, you're not taking in calories. When you're not taking in calories, insulin has to be able to work. If it worked more, the only way for me to recoup from burnout now, seeing me heal burnout. That is exactly what we do to our burnt out insulin. And when fasting, you don't make any you're not taking in any calories. Insulin, no, so no glucose, you have a low glucose. No, insulin is not called to action. And as a result, insulin is resting. The longer insulin can rest from its burnout, the better it is, the better the chance to recuperate and become an effective employee. So we use that to be able to do that. And the details of the way you take the Unimate, you wake up in the morning, you've been fasting for 12 hours, you make a bottle of the Unimate. Unfortunately, let's see, 1 second. The product comes in the product comes in a bottle like this. You make a bottle of it, you sip on this bottle 10 to 15 minutes. That comes in a sachet with powder. You pour water into the bottle and you take little sips of it throughout the morning. Please, can we mute your mic? And every time you sip on it, it produces GLP-1, and it helps you to be able to fast to get to 16 hours. Now, there are numerous other benefits of the Unimate. It helps with brain fog. It helps with balancing your cholesterol. My cholesterol dropped by 64 points in the space of 3 months using that. It helps with mood, it helps with satiety, so many other benefits. It helps with weight loss. The chlorogenic acid in here causes fat burning, lipolysis, weight loss, also helps with the health of the gut. So by so doing, being able to help you to fast for 16 hours and promoting other things, fat burning, it helps your body, your insulin, to be able to rest. And when your insulin rests for 16 hours, it can recuperate from the burnout. That's how this product directly linked to that. If there are any of you guys who are on here who are in the medical field, you will be interested to know that both of these products are listed in the PDL, the physician's desk reference. You can go look it up. The second product in this system is fiber. And fiber also helps to give insulin a rest. So we have shown how the Unimate helps to reverse the energy problem and give insulin a rest by helping you fast. Let me show you how fiber, can do exactly the same thing. Now, uh, this is how fiber can do exactly the same thing. Fiber helps to decrease your glycemic index. When I say fiber helps to decrease your glycemic index, it means that if you eat food if you eat food, instead of your blood glucose that's going to go to this level high, your blood glucose can go to this level high. What happens is that fiber slows the transit of food through the colon. A slower transit of food through the colon results in slower release of glucose in the blood, blunting glucose absorption. Why is that important? Let me tell you why that is important. Because it helps to rest insulin. How does it do that? Let's say you and I went to an Italian restaurant to have a plate of lasagna, and that's you and that's me. Lasagna is a very high carbohydrate food. You know nothing about fiber. You eat your lasagna. This is what your blood sugar will do. And that blood sugar may be a blood sugar of 170. For me, I know a thing or two about fiber. This product is made out of fiber taken from 7 different plants. I consume this product. What you do is I take this product before my meal, all of a sudden, all at once before my meal. And then I consume exactly the same plate of lasagna that you consumed. My blood sugar is going to do this. And that spike in my and that blood sugar for me will be a blood sugar of 80. Now, guys, isn't that wow? That you and I have eaten exactly the same plate of lasagna. Your blood sugar's gone up to 170, mine only to 80. As a consequence of that, right? Because your blood sugar's gone up to 170, your pancreas is going to have to employ more insulin commensurate to that blood sugar to deal with that blood sugar. So your pancreas employs 20 units of insulin to address that blood sugar. For me, my pancreas is only going to have to employ a commensurate lower amount of insulin. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If insulin is burnt out and has caused insulin resistance, is it beneficial to be employing more insulin to work or less insulin to work? Less. Because the lesser insulin you're employing to work, it means that more of insulin is resting. We want insulin to rest from its 30 to 35% burnout. And that's what fiber does to you. Fiber helps your insulin to rest, by causing your blood sugars not to go that high. And when your insulin rests, it can recuperate from its burnout and become an effective employee in securing the body's energy needs. The last thing is that fiber helps to reverse the gut imbalance. And this one is simple for you guys to see because remember, I said that the food for the bacteria in the gut is fiber. And we develop gut imbalance because of the shortage of food. So just by consuming the balanced product, which is saturated with fiber, you now have enough food for the bad guys and the good guys. There's no need for infighting. And that helps to resolve the gut imbalance. Simple. These two products, because they go to the root cause of reversing the energy shortage and the gut imbalance, have been helping so many people to be able to reclaim their health again. And so I want to pivot and say this. If you suffer from any chronic medical condition, that is most likely that chronic medical condition is the consequence of those two things: how your body makes energy and how your gut functions. And if you can restore that using this, you could reclaim your health again. Now, I want to pivot and talk to you guys about a huge business opportunity. I call it health meet wealth. You understand the product, you understand the science. Now, what if this science could help you make wealth? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about next. You see, imagine this. You're here today because someone cares about you and wants you to be exposed to information that could impact your financial being in a long lasting way. That's why you were invited. And I want to thank you guys for honoring that invitation to come listen. And imagine this: imagine having a solution to a problem that almost everybody has, and the ability to be able to build long term wealth by helping people solve it. The problem is the health problem. Imagine that. Now, you don't have to be a doctor to make this observation. I've been in medicine now for 15 years, but you don't have to be a doctor to see that everybody is sick. You go to Walmart, in our community, there have been so many, premature deaths in our community recently. You don't have to be a doctor to see people are overweight, people have high blood pressure, hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, what have you. In fact, in the United States, the statistics say that 70% of Americans are on at least one prescription medication. Let me ask you this, guys. Our ancestors were healthier than we were hundreds of years ago. Is it because they had better hospitals? Or is this because they had better medicines? Modern medicine was not born 500 years ago. The state of the art hospitals that we have today, our ancestors did not have. It is simple, guys. We're unhealthy because of those two things. 70% of Americans are on at least one prescription medication. And the statistics say that that number is projected to go up to 80% by 2050. 80%. So when I say imagine having a solution to a problem that almost everybody has. Now, and that is what I just presented to you guys, the Feel Great system. There are clinical studies about it. It's present in now 60 countries. It's patented. It's in the physician's desk reference. This is the solution that can help solve, the everyday health problem of people. And what has happened, the people, Keith is on here today. Keith was diabetic for 25 years, had a diabetic ulcer, which he healed and what have you. He's no longer diabetic. But what is happening is that people are experiencing real life transformations. Hundreds of people who once had problems with blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, depression, you name it, are now living free of these conditions. And I want to show you some examples here. These are a few pictures of people whose lives have changed. The very first picture is me, the black and the salmon. That's my before and after. These two products changed me. I lost 14 pounds. For the first time, I was able to get to my ideal body weight. My cholesterol, my LDL dropped by 69 points in 3 months. I had insomnia. I no longer have insomnia. I sleep now so good. If you are on this chat and you need here first time, uh, beans, and what have you gone? Energy, great. When I heard about this and I tried it for myself and it helped me, I thought about my twin sister. The next picture is my twin sister, Monica. She's in Cameroon. She had polycystic ovarian syndrome, an irregular period, struggled with her weight. I sent it to her. Why? Because I love her. When something happens to you that is good, you want to share with others. People who experience the life transforming information are sharing with others. I shared it with her. I bought a box, sent it to Cameroon for her. She was on it for 2 months. She lost 26 kilograms. Looks younger. Natasha is the next picture on the right. She's a physician friend of mine. I went to medical school with her. She's a pediatrician. That's her transformation. Jim was a diabetic, the picture on the bottom left. Diabetic reverses diabetes. Ro was a nurse, diabetes, reverse that. The last picture is Sue. Sue was diagnosed with early dementia and her food to nurse. She's forgetting the names of people she had known. For she was a mess and she was grown down fast. She was playing a Sue was introduced to this product, and within 2 months, Sue got her life back. I met Sue. I met Sue last month or month after last for the first time in Las Vegas. The first picture of Sue, she looks like a grandmother, acts like a grandmother, and smells like a grandmother. But if you see the second picture of Sue and somebody told you, hey, you know what? Sue is a grandmother, it's not that obvious. That's what this did to her. Now, what this is doing is that this is creating a powerful ripple effect. People who are experiencing those life-changing benefits are becoming lifelong consumers and sharing it with others. A domino effect. That's what's creating the real business opportunity, which I stand here talking to you guys today about. Now, the company that makes this health product is a company called Unicity. And their business model is run through a digital franchise is business structure to be you is an of $1,549. Now, that $1,549, you could pay for it with your debit or credit card. You could pay for it with your HSA account or an FSA account, or you could finance it. 100% financing through either Affirm or Klarna or PayPal. Now, when you make a one-time investment of $15.49, what happens is the company sends you 10 boxes of the product. Now, the retail price for one box of the product is $170. But when you make that one-time investment of $15.49, the company discounts those 10 boxes and gives it to you for $15.49 instead of $1,700. Why do they give you 10 boxes? They want you to recuperate your investment very fast. They instruct you to take one of the boxes and keep for yourself. to use for yourself, because the company wants every distributor, every a good ambassador for it. Where a good ambassador is using it, you keep for yourself. You take the all box, sell 9 boxes for $10. You sell 9 boxes and 7 people who 1530. That 1530 is already almost equivalent to what you made. You have made your money back. You now own the company. When you make that one-time investment that comes with a custom link that the company gives you, the company will fulfill all orders. They're wonderful. Okay, I'll go back to share my screen. So the other product that will go through the first 10 boxes, after which you get a special customer link, you get a customized, a back office, which is an online office that every distributor will have. All products, the fulfillment goes through online. You don't handle any people. You know, um, one of the things that we have in our organization, in my organization, to be able to help you is we want to, as we sign you on as a partner with us, we want to help you recuperate that 1530, and we want to help you to grow. And one of the things we have in our arsenal, as the physician leading this team who understands the science, I do a science call 3 times a week where I break down the same science where I've spoken to you guys about today of why we are sick. And I tell new franchise owners, invite as many people as possible to come listen to the science and listen to testimonies. The people who come, who you invite to those calls, they are wowed by the science and the testimonies they see. They immediately want to become customers. You could sell your 9 boxes to them and become whole. And that's the same way you can grow in this business. We have structures in place where you can invite, come listen to the call, business, like what we call the smart. Once you've done that, you own this company ever. Owning McDonald's, and you can now start making money. The way you make money in this business is 2 ways: through simply a customer referral program. How does that work? Let's say that's you're the franchise owner. You have a friend whose name is John. You tell John, "Hey John, this stuff is going to help you with your weight." John buys into the idea because he believes in you. He starts using it, and John loses weight, and he goes to Walmart and runs into Mary, and Mary said, "Whoa, John, you're looking good. You've lost some weight. What's happened?" And John says, "Hey, listen, it's this product that I got introduced to that has helped me." And Mary's like, "You know what? I could use some weight loss too. Can you hook me up, John?" And John, now each of your partners are going to have what we call a customer referral link. First of all, when John buys the product, every customer that uses your special customer link to buy the product, the company will pay you. In the US is $25. In Canada is 20. The company will pay you a $25 commission for every customer. Let's say the 100 in 5,000 customers. Just through subscription a month are making $25,000 a month. Now, if John now tells Mary and Mary buys the product, even though you do not know Mary, each of your customers is going to have what we call a customer referral link. When Mary buys the product, you're going to get a $25 commission from Mary's order, even though you've never met Mary, in addition to from John's order. If Mary goes and tells Ben and Pam, and Ben and Pam buy the product because Mary has told them, you're also going to get a commission from them because all of those people are linked to your customer. Now, each time any of your, and this can happen multiple times. Let's say Ben goes and tells 10 people you do not know, and all those 10 people get it, you will get a $25 commission times 10. Now, each time your customer refers somebody to you, there's an incentive. Your customer gets a $10 credit. So for John referring Mary, John gets a $10 credit. The other way I is will marketing a highly fragments of now. And now you're able to tell John about the business opportunity. And John makes this 1549 investment and becomes a partner. John is what I call your first generation partner. Let's say John convinces Mary to make the Mary becomes what we call your second generation partner. If Mary is, let's say, able to convince Ben, hey, Ben, this is an opportunity to capitalize, come in, and Ben jumps into, Ben is your third generation partner. I say that because in this multi level structure, for your first, second, and third generation partner, the company will pay you a $5 to $10 commission on all of their customers in their organization. Part commission yourself 9 generation commission, you could make commission right up to the 12th generation. Now, I say this is a massive opportunity. Healthcare is slowly shifting. People are wanting to experience true healing and get off medications. People are tired of just being on meds that is not healing them. And I want you to think of this as an Amazon stock before Amazon became a household name. I call this the modern day Amazon opportunity, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's look at what Amazon did. Amazon was incepted in 1997, and at the time, shares were going for $18. They say if you had invested $1,000 into Amazon in 1997 and left it there, it'll be worth $4.1 million today. That's what this did. And I say that this is like Amazon stock before Amazon became Amazon. Why? This is why. It's the timing, guys. It's the timing. You see, right now in the North America, about the whole of North Carolina, Colombia, Dominique, Paul, all countries, okay? You know, population of North America on it is only 0.1%, 600,000 people, whereas the population of North America is 600 million. 600 million. It's the company's vision that by 2040, right? 2040, about 14 years from now, they want to increase that number tenfolds from 0.1% to 1%. They want to go from 600,000 to 6 million. So many people still do not know about this. And imagine coming into this now and building a network that will have so many people under you. This is an opportunity to capitalize now. The timing is now. I say this. I've been in medicine for 19 years, 4 years in medical school, 15 years in practice. You see, the highest earner in North America is it's a young guy, a Canadian, 15 to 17 million dollars in this product. And I tell you about him. 2000 young, he took the MCAT. He was going to go to medical school. He's very high on that. He could have gone to any medical school he wanted to. He was on his way to medical school. That year, when he was preparing to go to medical school, somebody presented him this product and the light bulbs went off. He immediately saw this. The light bulb went off. He immediately saw this as a solution to a problem that almost everybody has. He decided that he was not going to go to med school and he was going to build a business helping people solve their everyday medical problem. Who doesn't have a health problem in America, in the world? Who doesn't with our modern day food society, a food world? And that's what he did. He now makes 15 to 17 million. As I said, I've been in healthcare now 19 years. I'm jealous in a way. I wish I knew about this. I'll be somewhere else. But you see, there is an old Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. But you and I cannot do anything. Go on. That same says the second best time to plant is now. If you plant your own tree, somebody will talk about it in 5 years, in 7 years, in 10 years. I now know, for the years of being a doctor, if somebody had ever told me, Dr. Dieter, you're going to be a millionaire, I said, you there telling me that stuff, you're probably smoking a candle that is not good for your health. The candle you're smoking, contains some high grade hemp in it. But if somebody came to me now and said, Dr. Dieter, you are going to be a millionaire, I said, give that man a glass of champagne. He knows something that most people don't know. Imagine having a solution to a problem that almost everybody has. I now know with the same certainty that I know that tomorrow is Saturday that I'll be a millionaire. Something I could never have said. And so I invite you. You have a chance to make a decision today. Somebody who loves you wanted you to be exposed to the science and this. Have a chance to today to well. I want to end with this. Know how much it costs our health system is broken. I thought so too, but I was wrong. Our healthcare system is not broken. It is designed exactly to function the way it is. You say something is broken when it's not functioning the way it was meant to function. A healthcare system is meant to keep people chronically sick so that they can benefit chronically from their illness. That's how healthcare system is designed. Everywhere in our healthcare system. This uh see. It costs It costs pharmaceutical industries anywhere from $2 to $6 to make insulin. $2 to $6 to make insulin. It doesn't matter if it's name brand or generic. Okay. Let me just tell you the evil of our healthcare system. If you have good insurance, you may pay a copay of $40. That $40, the pharmaceutical industry has maybe charged your insurance $100. Company is $60. Is telling you to pay $40. You have good insurance, you're selling. You've had a deal for $40. That $40, 20 times the price it costs to make it. If you went to the grocery store and bread, the price of bread was all of a sudden 20 times the price, wouldn't you scream bloody murder? But that's what's happening. You see, you guys may not know it. There are three scientists who made insulin, who discovered insulin. Insulin was discovered in 1921. Go look it up. Synthetic insulin discovered in 1921. The three scientists who made insulin. The three scientists who made insulin, uh, all of them sold their patent to the University of Toronto for $1 each. One of the scientists was quoted as saying, insulin doesn't belong to us, it belongs to the world, because they wanted it accessible. We're talking about $40 copay. The people who pay $100, $150, $300, how much prices into the 2 to 6. That's the evil of our healthcare system. I had a patient who 3 years ago with advice to be able to reverse, their diabetes, change their lives. Imagine having a solution to a problem that almost everybody has. So I invite you today. You have a chance to make a decision today, and that will put you in a pole position to build wealth. I invite you to consider partnering with us. My goal is that we change the lives of at least 100,000 people this year, their health. And how sweet can it be giving people health and at the same time building wealth? Thank you guys, for being part of this. Thank you guys for being part of this today. And let's see, stop sharing. Thank you for being part of this meeting today and honoring that. And I look forward to partnering with you guys. If you've listened to this today and it resonates with you, please get with whoever invited you on here to take the next step to be able to begin to change the lives of people. Thank you. I look forward to partnering with each and every one of you guys in the very near future. Thank you and good night. Now, before I say this, last thing before I say good night, we will be doing this presentation again, this science. We'll talk about the science again on Sunday. So if you listen to this and you want to become involved and want to become involved, join us. Grab onto whoever invited you and join us. And equally, whoever invited you can share the link to Sunday's call to be able to listen to this science again. Sunday's call will just be science, no business. But you have a huge opportunity to make a decision that can impact your life forever. Thank you and good night.